It's June 2017, the NBA draft is just days away, and the Philadelphia 76ers trade up to the number 1 pick with the plan to draft Markelle Fultz. He's a 6'3" point guard with a 6'9" wingspan, who just wrapped up an incredible freshman season where he averaged 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. With comparisons like James Harden, he is seen in the eyes of many as a can't-miss prospect. He would then have one of the most underwhelming rookie seasons in NBA history, in part due to a mysterious injury, but when he was on the court, only averaged a whopping 7 points on terrible efficiency. He also didn't knock down a single 3-point attempt, something that was deemed one of his strengths coming in. In the 3 years since the draft, he's only managed to reach NBA mediocrity. The draft is unpredictable. Some of the greatest players in NBA history were never in the conversation for the top picks. Some weren't even in the conversation for the first round. We also see different tracks of development. Future 2-time MVP Steve Nash only averaged 3 points a game as a rookie. In this video, we're going to look at some of the most disappointing top picks this season. So if you guys like my content, make sure you like and subscribe. Let's try to aim for 3 likes on today's video, and let's hop into it. I find this year's draft class so interesting, as the community, made up of everyone from 9-year-olds on Instagram to professional draft analysts, were pretty right. Everyone viewed Zion Williamson and JimmerRange as the far and away top prospects and were going to be the frontrunners for Rookie of the Year, and that's happened. Everyone was confused when the Suns traded down and took 23-year-old Cam Johnson at 11, someone that was looked at as a late first-round selection. Now, he hasn't been bad by any means. We expected him to be a low-volume but efficient shooter, and that's exactly what he's been. The community was high on Tyler Herro, and that seems to be warranted. What seems to be what we all did better than the GMs was recognizing the value that slipped in the draft. Directly following, both Kevin Porter Jr. and Brandon Clark were looked at as some of the biggest steals, and well, it looks like that's not gonna change. We really don't see this often, or maybe I misread the community's beliefs. Now, while this class has a lot to get excited about, there's also been a lot of disappointing performances. Before I go any farther, I want to make this clear. This is their rookie season. While the start of a player's career usually is a pretty good predictor for the rest of a player's career, I would say more than a lot of people like to admit, that's not always the case. Brandon Ingram, the arguable favorite to win Most Improved Player, averaged less than 10 points a game, shooting 29% from 3 as a rookie. The buzz conversation started for Trae Young not even halfway through his rookie season, and the MVP of the league, Giannis Antetokounmpo, averaged less than 7 points a game in his first year. For this video, we're only going to be talking about lottery selections, so let's start with the last pick in the lottery, Romeo Langford. At the time, I felt this was the wrong direction for the Celtics. The strength of this team was at the time their wings. They had one of the best defenders in the league and a streaky shooter in Marcus Smart. You had a 3-and-D guy in Jaylen Brown, who they were expecting to become more and more of a shot creator, and you had Jason Tatum, who was expected to be the quote-unquote guy for this team going into the future. Why take a 6'6" wing that hadn't proven himself as a defender, shooter, or really even an off-ball scorer? Maybe they wanted to get the best player available, and he was a top guy on the board, but I would be shocked if that was their rationale. So far, there hasn't been really a place for him in the rotation, appearing in 21 games, getting 11 minutes, where he had very little production. He spent most of his time in the G League, as we talked about in a recent video, where it hasn't been much better, getting 11 points, shooting 43% from the field, and 22% from 3. We go past Tyler Herro and PJ Washington for obvious reasons, and then we come to Cam Johnson at 11, but as we said, I don't think the expectations were even that high, so we go to Cam Reddish with the 10th overall pick. Now, the Celtics selection confused me, but this one really didn't at all. The Hawks went into this draft with a lot of holes to be addressed. They traded up to number 4, where they got what was looked at as the best 3-and-D player in DeAndre Hunter. He had an extremely high floor, so taking Cam, who was deemed a bang or bust prospect, made a lot of sense. No one denied that talent. He was a top 3 player in high school, and rightfully so. At one point, he was looked at as a consensus top 3 selection. Then he went to Duke, where he shot less than 36% from the field. But with that amount of upside, I didn't see a problem with the Hawks going with him at 10. This season, we again see that potential, but the efficiency struggles have continued, averaging less than 10 points, shooting 36% from the field, and 30% from 3. It's been undoubtedly disappointing, but he has had some moments. He shot over 40% from 3 in January. He had an impressive 25-point performance against the Nets and 22 against the Spurs, but personally, this is close to what I expected from Cam, and if I was a Hawks fan, I really wouldn't be that worried. This is exactly what Coach K saw after his freshman season. As he said, in Cam, you have an extremely talented kid, a player, a great kid, a little bit younger in the game. He's more of a freshman. That's not bad. He's a hell of a freshman. He had some nagging injuries that have been taken care of. I think he has the biggest growth potential, and I'm hoping that he goes to a program that will develop him in that way and doesn't expect him to be necessarily a double-double guy right away. I think he's got a great chance to be an outstanding player in the league. After Cam, we go to Rui Hachimura, who in my opinion has exceeded expectations, then Jackson Hayes, who's been much more NBA ready than I think most expected, and we land on Kobi White. Now hold on, don't rush to the comments. I'm not classifying White as a disappointment, but if I was writing this before the All-Star break, you best believe I would. Regardless, we have to talk about him. Aside from his last 3 performances, he's averaged 11 points, shooting 37% from the field and 33% from 3 this season. There were expectations for him to have a 6-man-like role for this Bulls team, and for most of the year, we haven't gotten that. Now, in the last 3 games, as I'm recording this, it's been a whole different story. He's put up at least 33 points in each performance, averaging 34 points, shooting 57% from the field and 58% from 3. Is this sustainable? Absolutely not, but at this point in a player's career, we want to see upside, we want to see potential more than anything, and well, he is showing that. This has to be one of the craziest individual runs we've ever seen from a rookie. This came out of nowhere, and it gets me really excited for what's to come. Just ahead of Kobi White, we had the Minnesota Timberwolves take Jarrett Culver. At the time of the selection, it was looked at as amazing value. Most mocks had him way off the board at this point. He just finished a sophomore season as one of the best two-way guards in college, leading Texas Tech to the national championship game. He's displayed promising playmaking and defensive skills, but scoring the ball has been a real problem in his rookie season. He's averaged just 9 points a game, shooting 39% from the field and 29% from 3. He's in the 5th percentile of spot-up shooting, in the 11th percentile in transition. His development has a long way to go, something I don't think the Timberwolves expected when they took him at 6. Now, there are some contributing factors. It's hard being a rookie with expectations on a terrible team, and the Timberwolves don't seem to know what his role is. He's played 24% of his minutes as a point guard, 53% as a shooting guard, and 23% as a small forward, which isn't necessarily a problem for a lot of wings, but could definitely be a factor to what seems to be an uncomfortable season for Culver. Ahead of him, we had the Cavaliers take Darius Garland. Coming in this draft, we didn't have much tape for Garland. He'd only played 4 collegiate games, but there was clear potential for him to be one of the best scoring guards in the league, and that was enough for him to be taken with the 5th overall pick. Statistically, he's been disappointing, considering he was a top 5 pick. He's averaged 12 points and 4 assists, shooting 40% from the field and 36% from 3. Now, personally, I don't actually find his season that disappointing. He's still clearly displayed his potential off the dribble and has already established himself as a solid shooter. If I'm going to give anyone a break due to their situation, it's him. The Cavs have been completely dysfunctional. He is a point guard, sharing the backcourt with another point guard who really isn't a point guard. Whose brilliant idea was this? Oh, it was John Beilein, who just stepped down midway through the season as the head coach. I truly think the Cavs need to move on from Colin Sexton and build around the backcourt of Darius Garland and Kevin Porter Jr. Ahead of Darius Garland was DeAndre Hunter. Coming out of college, he was the defensive anchor and an extremely efficient scorer for the national champion Virginia team. He was looked at as the best 3-and-D player with the potential to grow as a scorer. This season, he hasn't done anything crazy, but I don't think the expectations were for him to be averaging 15 to 20 points, hitting stepbacks and fadeaway jumpers. He's averaging 12 points, shooting 41% from the field and 34% from 3. I honestly believe he's going to continue to get better on both ends, and when we look at this Hawks team, I think a surprise season is on the horizon, and Hunter will be a big part of that. I would love to have a player like him in the 2020 draft. If the Hawks are looking to get guys like Anthony Edwards or James Wiseman or whoever it may be, that doesn't affect what Hunter is there to do whatsoever, but he is going to have to make significant strides as a scorer for him to reach 4th overall pick value. Then we get to the last of the quote-unquote disappointing rookies, the 3rd overall pick in the draft, RJ Barrett. Barrett's been destined for the NBA for a minute now. He was a top-ranked player in high school, then went to Duke where he averaged 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. I expressed a lot of concerns for Barrett going into this draft, such as his shooting consistency and decision making, but still looked at him as a top tier prospect. I felt there was the Zion and Ja tier, then there was the RJ Barrett tier all by himself, and then the Hunter, Garland, Culver tier. At the start of the season, I was very impressed with Barrett. He was averaging 18 points a game on solid efficiency in the first month of the season. He looked confident. It was the clear closer for this team. But as the season has gone on, those concerns we had coming out of Duke have become more and more apparent. On the year, he's averaging 14 points, shooting 39% from the field and 31% from 3. I would be surprised if Barrett has an unproductive career in the NBA. It just doesn't look like he's that transcendent talent we once thought he was. But as we should know, we just don't know what the future holds, and that's what makes this league so amazing. And then following Barrett, we had Ja Morant and Zion Williamson. And aside from some injury concern for Zion, there is absolutely nothing to complain about. So that's the end of you guys. You guys give me your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe. And the shoutouts are gonna be Liam, Chad, Edward, Prince, and Cornell. If you guys want to shout out in the next video, all you gotta do is like the video and comment liked or rep notification squad, and I'll shout 5 you guys out. With all that being said, hope you guys have a great day, and peace.